Neillsville, Wisconsin, a town with all kinds of recognizable features, such as the High Ground Veterans Memorial Park, the gazebo in the center of town, and yes, the world's biggest talking cow. But as it turns out, their local bowling center has a recognizable figure who just made a whole bunch of history. Let's talk about it. Bowling with the Pfeff.
Bowling with the Pfeff.
Are you ready?
Ready. Your bowling stories.
They found you.
They did.
That's all over.
Every week.
Bowling has picked back up again.
Live.
UW Whitewater.
There it is.
Why the fedora? Do I look good in it?
I think you look great in it.
I want to challenge Skylar Pence.
Mike Hatton.
I'm going to challenge Alec Keplinger.
Let's do this.
Roll 'em.
This is Bowling with the Pfeff.
You probably want to see where that voice is coming from, and it is coming from Neillsville, Wisconsin. Strike Time Lanes is where we are tonight, and a big thank you to Mike and his crew for making me feel so welcome here. It's a beautiful 12-lane center with some of my favorite equipment out there. Brunswick 2000 reminds me of growing up at the former Spectrum Lanes in Maple Grove, Minnesota, where I really started to fall in love with the sport of bowling. So it's cool to see that, and really cool to do this live here, and especially with our special guest tonight, who you're going to meet in just a moment. But first, a longtime mixed doubles pair is now Lucy doubles champions. Chris Vi and Brianna Cote took the championship, which counts as tour titles for each of them, on Sunday in Houston, Texas. They were almost 200 pins better than runners-up Kyle Troop and Liz Johnson through the 23-game event. This is Vi's second PBA Tour title, Cote's sixth win on the PWBA Tour. Next for the ladies is the 2025 PWBA Championship Week in Gates, New York. That starts Tuesday with the PWBA Rochester Open. The PWBA Pepsi Open follows starting on Friday the 8th. Then the season concludes with the PWBA Tour Championship starting on Sunday the 10th. The finals of that event are on CBS Sports Network Tuesday, August 12th at 6 p.m. Wisconsin time. The PBA Tour's final event is the Lucky Larson Masters in Sweden. That one starts a little bit later on August 22nd. Well, we have got a PBA Tour flavor type event coming up this weekend, and it's going to be live on this channel. Al and Briley's Golf and Bowl is in Owatonna, Minnesota on the 2nd and 3rd. Listen to this lineup: Wesley Lowe, Ryan Barnes, Alec Keplinger, Brady Stearns, AJ Chapman, Mitch Hoope, just a few on what has really turned into a mega talented roster for that event. I'll have the bowling part live from Spare Time Entertainment starting Saturday afternoon. And we have done a preview show. You can find that on the channel. Good stuff. We picked doubles pairings for golf, and really exciting event that those guys love over in Owatonna. We'll talk much more about that starting on Saturday afternoon. A big what's up to my sponsors. Jerry's Score More Bowling Supply inside Wagner's Lanes in Eau Claire. If you need bowling products or services, he can help you out. 715-559-1822 is his number. Visionary Video Hub, video with impact, your full-service video production business, plus live streaming, voiceover, and podcasting from yours truly. Find out more at visionaryvideohub.com. And, of course, you know it, you love it. Chip Magnet Salsa. Raise your snack standards. Chip Magnet got some shine from Jopo Grips and Sean Rash this week. Of course, Sean has been sponsored by Chip Magnet, just as I have been for the last, I'd say, few months, maybe closing in on a year here. But if you're interested in what the buzz is all about, here's a great way to figure it out. If you go to chipmagnetsalsa.com, enter the promo code BWTF2025 at checkout, you get 25% off a 6-pack order of the good stuff. Lots of flavors ranging from mild to medium to hot, something for everyone. chipmagnetsalsa.com. Again, raise your snack standards. And as I always say, a big thank you to the folks at Chip Magnet for sponsoring this channel and supporting local bowling, because that's really what it's all about around here. And they've been a great supporter of bowling in our area and beyond. Well, our guest tonight is soaring with the best, quite literally, at the Open Championships for the third time. Marc McDowell shot 299, 196, 300 in the singles event in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That adds up to a 795 series that was 2 pins better than the leader at the time and held up for 12 long weeks. The last shifts of the tournaments were Monday, and now it's celebration time as McDowell is back in the home area, celebrating that big win here in Neillsville, where he bowls league at Strike Time Lanes. But I have the absolute pleasure of having the champ right here with me tonight. Marc, it's a pleasure to have you on. Congratulations and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, the timing of this is certainly great. We talked about that. Win or lose, this was, going to be fun to do. So still soaring here, man, after getting the news on Monday. So, yeah, excited. And, I feel like I've kind of made it to the big time here now, being on the show with you. So
I think you've done a few things before this that
yeah, man, this is
might
right
have,
up there.
Might have, gotten that going. But either way, winning an Eagle under any circumstances is worthy of celebration. And, obviously we have to start there. Relatively fresh to know that it held up. You found out Monday.
Yeah.
Tell us about where you were, how you found out, that whole story.
Yeah. Kind of a classic setting here. I was up north at Jeff and Sue, Jeff Richgels, his girlfriend Sue. Her family has a cabin up on Papoose Lake, in between Boulder Junction and Manitowich Waters, north of Minocqua. Beautiful place. We go every year right around Jeff's birthday. And so it just happened to fall on this weekend. And it was cool because Tom Howery and his wife, Terry, normally join us as well. They were up for a day and couldn't stay because of work and family conflicts. But so I was able to be up there with those guys, which is cool because Jeff's got obviously multiple Eagles, but an individual all events Eagle. Tom Howery has an individual all events Eagle. So I figured I was hanging with the right guys that could kind of help me through this.
Yeah.
The last few days get pretty nerve-wracking. So we were there on Monday, and we knew the timing of the last squad, and Keith Dunphy would keep Jeff informed of what was going on. And so we kind of knew midway through the last game of that last squad that nobody could pass it. And it was popping the champagne time. And then I got the official call from USBC, which was just so special, man. That's such a unique experience. And it was a thrill. Just very cool.
For sure. Yeah. You kind of expressed a little doubt in a USBC video that I'm guessing they recorded right after you got off the lanes. When you factor that into the situation, you've got 12 weeks to wait. Does it make it more nerve-wracking, less nerve-wracking?
Well, the first month was easy because I just thought somebody will beat this score.
Yeah.
I really honestly didn't think it would hold. Somebody normally blasts them, or many can beat that. But month 2, we get to month 2, and I'm thinking, wow, the possibility, this is possible. You never know. That kind of started creeping in. And then month 3, it's like, holy cow, this has got a chance, and then a week passes and a week passes. Time seems to just stand still with that last month and the last few weeks and the last few days. And yeah, it's a bit nerve-wracking. So it gradually just got more and more intense. It's such a unique experience, because normally you win a title back in the tour days, it's instant gratification. This was, post your score, and 3 months later, you find out. So it puts you on a little bit of a roller coaster ride, for sure. Yeah.
And so few of us are ever truly going to be on Eagle Watch. That's just awesome to hear about. You sent some stats from your previous performances at the Open Championships. I'll put them up here right now. So this certainly wasn't the first time that you've put up a great number, 2034 for all events. Of course, the first time you won the singles championship. But tell me about some of these other tournaments. What should we know about your Open Championships history? Because like I said, there are some big numbers there, highlighted by a 21-47 in 02.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was my best all events year, and probably I think my best singles until this year. That was in Billings, Montana, and suited my game really well and bowled well. But I think consistency, just over the years, I've had a pretty steady career posting scores out there, and I've been blessed to be on a great team, and so I really gear up. We gear up. We're doing all the right things, and in fact, we've kind of been a pioneer in how you go about competing at the the Open Championships. So, I give a lot of credit to them. Jeff Richgels, I mean, he's the heart and soul of our team, and the rest of the guys. So that just, always gave me great support and, preparation. And so singles or doubles was always my best event. And more recently, I've, been able to bowl with Mike Shady. And so, man, I would always get super pumped to bowl that. And that's where I was seeing some of my best scores coming. But nothing big, nothing like this. So it's kind of unexpected. It just came out of the blue, and it just goes to show you never know. Prepare, practice, learn from past experiences, make sure your equipment's ready. And, you just never know what can happen. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a little bit of a summary of things. Nothing else spectacular like this for sure. So that's what just makes this, surprising in a way, even to myself, but it's just extra special at this point in my career.
Yeah.
You kind of think you're done and don't like to think that way, but then this happens.
But we know it's your third Eagle. You've had a couple of team championships. Yep. And when you talk about, trust your process, you never know. It always helps when you're from Wisconsin, right? There is something about Wisconsin bowlers and the Open Championships. What is it?
Well, I think the history of bowling and the headquarters being in Milwaukee for all those years, it just made it. There was an emphasis on the ABC National Tournament, now the USBC Open Championships. So there was just a focus of it. And then, the guys in Milwaukee and some of the great things, Rich Wonders and those teams, the Fab All teams did. And, that just made it kind of a point of focus and emphasis. So, that encourages the guys here, and there's a great history there. You want to be a part of it. It's motivational. It's inspiring. It's all those things. And we pull for each other. Yeah. I am so happy for Chad Kloss and his guys, bowling headquarters, winning their Eagle. They had so many close calls, and man, they got that same passion for it. And I think that is the key. There's a passion here to go out there and excel in that tournament, and we've been able to do it.
Yeah. Congratulations, Chad, Will Welch have both been on the show before. Yeah. Really happy to hear that they performed so well in the tournament. But there are a few guys who had the best view of what you were doing, and I got a hold of a couple of them. Your doubles partner was Mike Shady, as you brought up. So, of course, I had to hit him up. He said he was so excited to hear the news that you won singles. He says, you have always been a great friend and teammate going back to your tour days. He says he's looked up to you not just as a player, but as a mentor and someone who's consistently given back to the sport. He goes on to say that you've always been a great talent in bowling. This Eagle is just another reminder of your greatness and the deep respect that you've earned over the years. He says he's super happy for you and proud of what you did this year at the Open, and that competing with you on the same pair of lanes during that Eagle performance was inspiring and honestly amazing. He said the last game, the 300, was not easy, but the way that you executed made them look easy. He said your shot-making ability was on full display. I love that he said that, because that last part, we're kind of in an age where matching up with the pattern, right bowling ball has a lot to do with it. But being a great shot maker has been the key to this game back before we were around.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I thank Mike for those comments. He's more than just a teammate. He's a great friend. We're like brothers, really, really are. And yeah, there's a great love for each other and respect and all that. We've been friends since high school, and college, and then on the tour we traveled together. So appreciate all that, Mike. Thank you. But yeah, I know I just forgot where we were with that.
Shot making. Mark.
Oh yeah,
Your specialty.
Thank you. That's a senior moment, everybody.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I think that's kind of what the USBC is about, because it's very challenging pattern. In fact, sometimes it can be hard on your pride, your ego. I mean, this year team event was particularly brutal, but even minors, and that varies from time to time, year to year. But yeah, it was very challenging. That inspires me because I can compete still on that. If it's a strike fest shootout, the guys today and the young guys, I don't have as much of a chance. This allows me to play, to be in the mix and in the hunt. Never expected this and what happened this year, but that gives everybody a chance. And if you focus on executing your process, your routine, shot making, this hopefully can give others hope that, if you work on your game that way, it's not league, it's not a league pattern. You got to be ready to play and execute and make shots. And yeah, it came through in a big way this year. So very thankful.
This is one of those events where you kind of come in blind, right? You don't get to see the pattern until afterwards. We didn't get to see it until I believe it was Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
And this is what they turned out to be. Was that a surprise to you, or how did you kind of react to seeing what the patterns actually were after having all that success on them?
I'm kind of old school. I don't know what that's all about. I just get out there and I bowl and I see what my ball's doing, and I just go from there. I work off of that. Back in the day when I was touring, you didn't really think about the pattern. You just went out there and bowled on what they put out. That's a little more of a recent modern thing, and I know that's key. But honestly, I look at that and go, okay, well, that's interesting. I see that little extra oil down the lane, and that's maybe that's why they were a little trickier for some, but I don't know. I don't put much stock in that. We try to get as much intel as we can. So we're talking to people, and you got Riggs, you got Jeff Richgels out there, and Richter's tuned in, and even everybody's got their people that go and bowl. So you try to gather a little bit here and there, and they're going to be tough. So you want to have equipment you trust, have confidence in, know it's controllable. I don't bring any wild stuff, any big boomers. I got stuff that I know is gonna, it's controllable, and then I can go out and hopefully find something and execute. So I don't put much into the patterns as far as those graphs and all that. I don't know.
Sure.
I get it. I kind of understand it, but I just don't. I don't put a lot of emphasis on that.
Yeah, and we should mention that the two bowling balls you see behind us are the two that he used.
Yeah, I thought it'd be kind of fun to bring those out. Which was another unique thing. Usually, if you're hitting them, you got one ball and you're working it. I had that unique middle game where I struggled, so I started with this Jackal, and then I kind of lost it, and I thought in the fill ball I'm going to throw my trusty Venom Shock, and I threw it 13 shots, and I struck all 13 times with that Venom Shock.
Wow.
So I joked to Riggs or somebody, EJ's not the only guy that strikes a lot with the Venom Shock. So I love that ball, man. It's amazing.
How long have you been with Motive?
About 10 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. My good buddy Rob Bailey, who drills all my equipment in Sun Prairie, Rob Bailey's pro shop. One day I won't say who I was still with, but all of a sudden I see all these Motive balls in his shop, and I'm like, Rob, I go, what's up with the Motive stuff? I hadn't really heard much about it. And he goes, I just love it. I love this company. I love what they're about. The equipment, what they're doing is excellent. I said, you think it's something I should be looking into? And he said, absolutely. So he drilled me up a couple, and one of the first ones was a Venom Shock. So that ball's been around a long time, and I loved that ball immediately. And call in for me, and Motive was interested and brought me on staff. So incredible. Super thankful for that. I love what Scott Wilbur, Brett Spangler, Nick Parr, all what those guys are doing at Motive. Just outstanding. I've never had more confidence in my equipment, on staff or not, than what I have with Motive right now. So that's a big part of what I was able to do there this year.
Yeah. Brett, Don't say I never do anything for you. I lobbed that one in there nice and slow.
There you go.
It's not even Monday. and I gave that
Yeah.
one to him. Of course, I had to talk to Riggs, who, by the way, it's his birthday today. So happy birthday,
Riggs.
Jeff. I love that when birthdays fall on the days of the show. It
that's
makes
great.
it kind of fun. Here's what he said. He said, we have been through so much together. I'm going to get my silly little logo out of there. So much together, from kids growing up in bowling to the tour to being teammates and friends. It's been a great life, and he's a huge part of it for me. He said, I think people don't give him enough credit. He was the leading money winner on tour in 1992 and was BWAA Bowler of the Year. He was the best in the world for a year. He goes on to say, and then add on a Hall of Fame USBC career. If they never change the rules back and he never gets into the USBC Hall of Fame, it will be a grave injustice. His record is so much better than some of the people who are in the Hall of Fame. And this Eagle is the capper if he doesn't win more. The oldest ever in singles, doubles, or all events. That is historic and all part of Wisconsin's great bowling culture. Jeff has a great way of providing a lot of context in a few words.
Yeah.
And he did it there. What's your reaction?
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah, we've been friends since we were 10 years old. So it's kind of nice to have your own PR guy, right with you in every event. And we just have such a life connection from the early days of bowling. It's just crazy. And we veered in different directions at times, came together on the tour for a while, and post-tour came together for this USBC. And I'm so thankful for him to be that guiding light on that. And just the things that he motivates me. We were in junior leagues, it was back and forth every year. He would out average me one year and put up some big scores, and then that would motivate me, and I'd practice extra hard, and then I'd beat him the next year, and back and forth. And that's just priceless, man, when you got somebody who's motivating you like that. So I think we pushed each other to get better. We pushed each other through our lives and our whole careers to continue to excel and, try to compete against each other, but then with each other. So quite amazing.
Yeah.
Quite amazing. And just thankful for his friendship over time. I have a unique friendship with Jeff that goes back 50 years. So I don't know if a lot of people know that, but that's been extra special.
Yeah.
It's unique being a part of the 11thframe.com team, because every performance is well documented on his 11thframe.com blog. In fact, Bill Fabian joined our team a couple years ago, and he said, man, he goes, I feel a little pressure here now because everybody's going to know how I bowl, good or bad, and I never thought about it because that's just always been there. But yeah, it's unique, to have somebody blogging and documenting everything as so well as he does. And, I think that's helped me. I feel blessed about all that, because he's, been a big advocate and promoter of me and the game, our team, and all that. So pretty cool.
Yeah. And on top of all that, a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of icing on the cake there. Okay. So we did have an alternate title for this, just in case, the 795 doesn't hold up, right? I have a graphic for it. At least I did have a graphic. There it is. It would have been called Dad's Got Company. Tell us about how big a deal it was for you to get that perfect game at the Open Championships, as your dad had done, years before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible, because that actually helped make this thing happen. Because that 299, I was very disappointed, and I joked, that my dad still got one up on me, because he shot 300 in 1997 in Huntsville, the Open Championships. So I was disappointed with that 299. I was so close, and then kind of struggled the second game. But all of a sudden, the last game, I get him going again, and I'm striking, and I had my head down and my full-on focus to shoot 300. So that was my focus. I can honestly say I never once thought about taking the singles lead. I never thought about it. It was not in my mind. I had one thing in mind, and that was to shoot 300. So even in the 10th frame, I just wanted to shoot 300. I wanted to do that. I knew that would obviously be a great score, and my teammates were all of a sudden really encouraging me. So I kind of knew something was up, but I didn't let myself go there. I was just, man, execute, my routine, my process, as I like to say, and that's all I thought about. But it's funny because that still is a huge thrill. I was super thrilled to shoot 300, and it ended up leading to the singles title. It's just crazy.
That's a movie.
The events that happened during those 3 games.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. So, yeah, that was huge. That was huge. And I'm so proud of that with my dad because as far as we know, we're the only father and son to both have 300 games at the Open Championships. Yeah. So that's special. I know my dad loves that. It's just very cool. So proud of it. I'm sure there'll be many more, but we were the first, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I hit up Aaron Smith about that, and he said there were some family things, family records. There's I think a 300 and a 296 by a father and son, but as far as he knows,
well, they were pretty rare back in the day, not like now where there's multiple, and so it's bound to happen again. And I'm surprised it hadn't happened with some of the father-son, bowlers that are out there now, and that's where I said, I'm sure it'll happen again, but kind of cool to have that with my dad and share that with him, and we're proud of that.
Yeah. Take me back to the beginning. I believe your bio says you were about 8 years old when you started in bowling. Was that something that your father kind of brought to you, or did you kind of seek it out yourself?
Both my parents were bowlers, very good bowlers. My dad's in the Hall of Fame, Madison Bowling Hall of Fame, primarily for his meritorious service. He coached junior leagues in Madison for over 30 years. He was my junior coach. So there's a lot of the classic storylines of a parent being an influence, and he was certainly that. So both my parents bowled. My mom was a great bowler as well. And so, I'd go to their leagues and I'd watch them. And then when I turned 11, my dad took a bartending job part-time at the local bowling center, Village Lanes in Monona. It was 2 blocks from my house. So whenever he worked, I could go up there and bowl. And, man, I took full advantage of that. And that's just kind of what really made this whole thing happen. I just kept getting better and better and better because I practiced and loved it, passion for it, right along with Jeff Richgels. Junior leagues, we'd bowl juniors in the morning on Saturday morning, and then we'd keep bowling. We'd get a pair and just bowl and bowl and bowl. And then we'd pause and go in and watch the PBA tour. And, my dad would throw in a Tombstone pizza and a couple of Pepsis, and we're watching the tour. And then we'd go out and bowl again till 6 o'clock, and they'd kick us off the lanes. Hands are torn up. The classic, can't get the kids off the lanes. That was Jeff and I. That's when we were 11, 12, 13 years old and learning the game and imitating the pros and, all that. So it just sort of kept on building. But my parents were super, involved in getting me into bowling, and with my dad being my coach all through juniors, obviously. And just my desire, I'm hugely competitive. I love to play sports. I've played every sport, whatever season growing up, and then bowling just sort of rose to the top and gave me this outlet, and it just took off from there.
Yeah. Set the scene for us as far as that junior program is concerned, because obviously in years ago, the junior programs were bigger. Madison, of course, a hub in Wisconsin for great bowling, as it has been for years and years. What was the junior program like that you were in, and presumably Jeff was in too? Oh, yeah. It was packed. There was Friday Bantams. That was the kids, the young kids on Friday. And I would run from my school to the bowl to get the ball I wanted. I think it was an AMF, number 311. I still know it, and I had to get that. So that was Friday. That was the start. And then Saturday mornings, there were 2 shifts of juniors, full house on Saturday mornings. And I would bowl one of them. But then there was another league in Stoughton, about 20 miles outside of Madison, and we would drive down there to bowl in that league. So it was, and then Sundays was the traveling league, which was sort of the peak of the junior, because each center around the area would put out a team of 4 of their best bowlers, the juniors that had real passion for the game. And so that was kind of the upper echelon. And
I just loved all that every weekend. So we didn't have all the other tournaments, though. We didn't have Grand Prix and the youth tours and all those money events and sponsor and scholarship monies. There was just none of that. You had a city tournament, a state tournament, and a few other random events, but there was very little tournament of play. But boy, juniors leagues provided, a great outlet for us, and it was fun times.
Did you feel back then that you were always kind of bound for college or bound for, competing at a higher level than you were at?
Yeah, I did. That sort of played out. Jeff went into men's leagues at 16.
Okay.
So he went in right early, and I didn't. I stayed in juniors until I graduated high school, and I applied to all the programs around the country that offered bowling scholarships. I wrote every one of them a letter, and I think I heard back from one. It didn't offer me a scholarship, but I could try out for the team kind of thing. And so, that didn't, it wasn't what I was hoping for. I didn't have the big numbers in Madison that the guys in the bowlers in Texas and California and elsewhere were putting up, challenging patterns around. And so scores weren't as high. Anyway, when I didn't get the response, I ended up going to the University of Wisconsin, Madison, and I walked onto the football team. So I made the team as a field goal kicker, place kicker, which was a cool experience. And so I went that route. And I was bowling. I went into men's leagues and had a great first season. And that kind of piqued my interest again. I was second high average in the highest scratch league in Madison, right out of juniors. So when the football thing didn't seem like it was going anywhere, I thought I'm going to get back into my bowling. And I transferred to UW lacrosse. And that's when I really got into that. Ended up at West Texas State on a bowling scholarship, one of the schools I applied to. So persistence pays off. And that's where I really became a bowler at West Texas State.
Is there a chance that somehow, some way, the football thing could have gotten in the way of the bowling thing and you would have kept kicking the football through the uprights and we would have never been talking like this?
Well, I suppose. I mean, I had some ability there, but I was deep down on the roster of kickers. There was like 7-8 kickers on there, and I was good. I was competitive with it, but there were some phenomenal kickers there. So it just, it's the way life works. Something I went after and had a great experience, but God has a plan, and it didn't work out in that direction, which steered me back. So obviously I was meant to go in a different direction, and I'm thankful that I did. And so it's just fate and how things work out, and God had a plan.
Sure. When you arrived at lacrosse, who was on that team at the time?
Yeah. Rick Wolf, Mike Toole, trying to think of some of the guys, Steve Michaelfelder. That's kind of Greg Sitkowski. Shoot, I hope I don't forget anybody. You guys, I'm doing my best on this one. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So some good guys. I made the team. I didn't tear it up immediately there, and I had to earn my way on it, and thankfully I did. I had a couple of great tournaments, the big match games tournaments in St. Louis. Amazing tournament, and kind of led our team to top 4 finish. And they have match play in 4 team blocks. And we made the final position round top 4 with West Texas State, Wichita State, and I don't remember the 4th team, but that's where I met Mike Jasnow. He'll laugh at that. Almost slipped. Almost called him Mark Jasnow. Sorry, Mike. That's a good one. Anyway, and they ended up offering me a scholarship through that tournament primarily because I got to meet these guys and got to know them and developed a friendship. And then, anyway, that's what led me down there.
Yeah.
Now, the West Texas team had Jack Jurek on it, and Jack was right up there with Jeff as far as inspirational, motivational, big influence on me, all-time great, the 2 Scroggins brothers. So now I'm surrounded by, perhaps one of the best college teams of all time. There's other great teams, so whatever. And so that's where I really learned how to bowled on a national level, and really broke out of Madison and Wisconsin to see what I could do.
Sure.
So
College bowling at that point was I had to kind of catch myself from saying it was in its infancy.
yeah,
It was a different time.
yeah.
It was a different time in college bowling. Describe what it was like to compete when you were in it.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, just the experience, the travel, the new places. Bowling on college campus lanes taught you how to grind, taught you how to be ready for anything, and just good competition. When I got to West Texas, we were in the Texas Intercollegiate Bowling Conference, and guys from University of Texas and Houston and A&M, and there was a lot of great bowlers. Ken Johnson bowled for North Texas State, went on to win the Masters as an amateur. And there's many other great bowlers there. So I got to see another level of competition. And again, then bowling at a national level. We made it to the national championships all 4 years I was there. Again, just great experience. And it was in its infancy. I transferred without having to sit out. So this was prior to even some of the rules to kind of get it more organized and structured. So I was thankful for that. But now, I think that's the rule now. You gotta sit out a year. I'm not sure, but anyway, a lot of things have changed. But it was, it was an amazing experience.
And then in the ultimate bit of irony, the school you came from ends up competing with you for a national championship.
Did Shady make you bring this up?
No.
Did he mention it?
No, he didn't, but
no.
I'm sure he's rooting me on with every word I say.
Him and Bill Fabian, Terry McKinney.
Yeah.
Pretty ironic, right? My senior year, we were number one ranked team in the country. We won every tournament we entered that year, every event, every college match, everything we bowled, every tournament. And we get to nationals, and it's in Milwaukee, red carpet, South, I believe. Okay. And we led the tournament going away. And lacrosse made the step ladder, and they beat us in the championship game in a one-game Baker match.
Oh my
one
gosh.
Game.
Wow.
Not two. So, kind of a crapshoot there, but I mean, all credit to them. But think about that now, right? I don't think you'd ever see that again. But that was a great team, and it was UW Lacrosse. The team I left and transferred from. But you look back at that team now, it was Mike Shady, it was Bill Fabian, it was Terry McKinney, and those are the guys I still am in contact with. So we have fun with it, We finished second, which was disappointing because it would have been like the perfect season.
Yeah.
We could have joined the Dolphins as one of the few teams to go undefeated. That didn't happen, but good story, The irony of it all is kind of fun, actually.
Sure. After, you're done with college, was it kind of a foregone conclusion that you were going to try the tour, or did it take some convincing?
That's funny. It's funny that you asked that because the teammates I had at West Texas, when the first year I went there, Steve Martin was one of the seniors, and great guy. He actually put me up and when I first arrived, because I went down to West Texas State in Canyon, Texas, sight unseen.
Okay.
I accepted the scholarship over the break, and I went down. My mom wasn't too happy about me going away to Texas. So when I went down there, I didn't have a place to live yet. It was like pretty spontaneous. But so Steve Martin put me up, and I mentioned him because when he graduated, he went on tour, and he made the show. He made a show in Milwaukee at the Miller. Okay. And when I saw that, and all due respect, when he made the show, I said, "Ooh, I can do this," because I thought I was in that caliber, that level, and what I had been doing just gave me the confidence to say, I can do this. Yeah. Steve was a great bowler, but I just said, now I had somebody to kind of benchmark to, and when that happened, that was the day I said, I'm going on tour. Yeah. I'm going to give this a try. So that was it. So thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you see this.
Daniel Stoner says, proud of you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. That's my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah, a great guy, and appreciate that thought, Dan. Yeah, I'm proud of you too, bud.
All right. Thanks for watching live. Appreciate that. So you go out on tour, and we know, how that first year ends. You're rookie of the year, blah, 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 had a runner-up finish. But what was it like to get out there with the stars of the day, right? You got Walter Ray's out there. Holman's still bowling well. Roth is still out there. Mark Baker,
Brian Voss.
Brian Voss, yeah.
Walter Ray, all those guys.
Yeah. And now you got to compete against them.
Man, deer in the headlights, for sure. I went out and bowled 2 tour events in the fall of 85. So that was prior to my rookie year in 86. And because you could bowl 2 without being on the tour. And I think I forget the rules there a little bit. But anyway, I went to Indianapolis and then St. Louis. And it was hard I was just starstruck, I think the first time I bowled, I crossed with Brian Voss and Mike Edwards and Jim Tilton in Indianapolis. And I was just, it's hard to really focus in and be comfortable when you're just surrounded by guys you've idolized. So that was cool. It was a good way to break the ice. Then I waited till the tour came around next spring to bowl in St. Louis to start my rookie year.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Let's share a little bit of my first tour stop my rookie year. I drove down to St. Louis and made it through the pre-tournament qualifier, known as the Rabbit Squads. Yeah. Was in the center that in St. Louis, came out excited. I'm in the tournament, and I drove to the hotel I was going to stay at. I was using my stepdad's pickup truck with a topper on the back, and I opened up the topper, and I had a clothes bar in there with all my clothes, and it was empty. So somebody had broke into the truck and stole all my clothes, all my other bags, with your bathroom supplies and your other clothes. I had no underwear, I had no socks, I had no shoe, nothing. It was all gone. Luckily, I had my 8 balls in the center. They stole my extra ones, so I had nothing. This was, Monday night. I had to go to the mall that night and buy shirts and toothpaste and a toothbrush and socks and somehow get some, name shirts lettered up. And I mean, what a way to kick off my rookie year on tour.
Yeah.
Needless to say, I didn't bowl well in the tournament, but that was my start. So kind of a inauspicious beginning, but fortunately from there, things got a little better.
Yeah. You made TV.
I did.
Ended up finishing runner-up to, I believe, was it Dale Eagle?
Yeah, that was in the summer out in Seattle. My first show was in Kansas City.
Okay.
On the winter tour, and the week prior, I bowled in Peoria in the True Value Open, and I bowled pretty well. I thought I was close to cashing, and I ended up 80 over, so the scores were pretty low. I drove home knowing I wasn't going to make the finals. So I called when I got home, about a 3.5-hour drive, something like that. And I said, "Hey, I'm calling to see what it took to cash."
Yeah.
And they said 81 over, and I was 80 over, and so I was just majorly dejected. I walked downstairs at my mom's house and didn't turn on a light and was just crushed. Right. So that meant I had to bowl in the Rabbit Squad the next week in Kansas City, which was a 32-lane center, 14 spots and 100 guys bowling in the Rabbit on Monday. So I had to get through that. Thankfully I did. And everything fell into place there, and I led qualifying. I didn't just cash. I was the top seed after 18 games. It was a top qualifier. So I kind of busted out in a big way and qualified second for the show and lost to Mark Baker, who ended up going on and losing to Walter Ray Williams. So that was kind of the first brush with the bright lights. Chris Schenkel, Nelson Burton Jr. And I laughed about calling Jasnow Mark because he made his first show with me. Those that know Mike Jasnow, amazing coach, bowler, and person, one of my best friends. On the show when they open, and this is a dream come true for both of us, they have his name listed as Mark Jasnow. And needless to say, he was very disappointed by that. We laugh about it now, but so we both made our first shows together, and unfortunately didn't get to bowl each other, but So that's a pretty cool memory we have.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rest of the year went really well. The top seed in Seattle, lost to Dale Eagle. Had some other really good finishes. And thankfully, I bowled well enough to get voted Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
That was a great way to start.
Was that something you were kind of, paying attention to throughout, or just, hey, I'm going to bowl my game and whatever happens, happens?
Well, I didn't start bowling until the 6th tournament of the year. I didn't go bowl California, Vegas, the Showboat, Texas, Florida. I skipped those. And I'm like, I'm going to wait till it comes to the Midwest. And that was St. Louis, Milwaukee, Kansas City. In the meantime, in those first 6 tournaments, John Odrabinick, another rookie, won the Quaker State Open. So that was kind of like, well, there goes Rookie of the Year thoughts.
Yeah.
So I kind of let that go. I never really focused on it. I thought, shoot, it was a big check. It was a win. As a rookie, that's huge. But he didn't do a whole lot else the rest of the year. And then I just kind of, I got things rolling and put up enough consistency and shows and checks and almost won the National Resident Pro, the national event. Finished second there to Dave Traber. So I did enough to overcome it. But again, it was kind of like it wasn't my focus.
Yeah.
So that helped me just go bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was able to do some good things. So,
sure.
Yeah.
It took a few years, but you did end up winning, breaking through in 89.
Yep.
Tell us about what led up to that, and did some of your experiences along the way light the fire under you and make it possible to win that first title?
Yeah, I think with that good start, it gave me confidence for sure. But then I kind of regressed in 87 and 88. I didn't do a whole lot. And so that was kind of like a wake-up call. It's time to bear down. It's kind of, I'm either going to make this or I'm either going to make or break it here. At some, it's getting to that point now, right? So that kind of got me really refocused. And 88, things kind of came together. I started bowling a little better, maturing a little bit, learning some things. And then, I won the Fresno Open out in California and beat Tony Marisi, another Wisconsin guy, for my first title. And that was just an incredible feeling to get that kind of, it was almost a relief as much as it was a euphoric, because it's just like that was a goal and I'd been struggling a bit. And so to win, it was like, okay, but it was a confirmation. And then I went on later that year to win the Senior Touring Pros Doubles with Dick Weber, which was just an ultimate thrill to have him as a partner, all-time great guy. To go through it and win that tournament out in Buffalo was phenomenal. So, I have 5 wins, and each one of them is so memorable, so special. First title, obviously. Doubles with Dick Weber. I mean, goodness gracious, that's a blessing beyond words. And then my year in '92, which was really when I broke through.
Yeah. Let's start with the first tournament of the season, because I am a big fan of Larry Lickstein's live stream on the Lightning Strikes Bowling Center channel in, I believe, Fort Myers, Florida. If you ever get a chance on Facebook, it's a terrific watch. He tells great stories.
Oh, yeah.
He's been on the show.
Yep.
All that stuff. So I'm watching last night, right? So I got to ask, because I know he's going to give me something to use, right?
Yeah.
Hey, McDowell's coming on tomorrow. How about that 795? And, because I kind of told him about that the day of, because I was watching his channel. McDowell shot 795 today.
Yeah.
So he's talking about it. And what he starts to go into is the story of this event, right? He says, of course, I'm there drilling people's bowling balls with my crew. He's got guys working for him at the time. And he says there's this young guy named Steve Cooper who is walking around with 24 New Line Excalibur bowling balls.
Yep.
And giving them away.
Yeah.
So he goes up to the locker room, which I believe was on an upper level.
Yep.
This is at the Gable House in Torrance, California. And he said, when you come out of this locker room, it's 20 lanes on each side, but you can see everything from that view. And he comes out of the locker room and he looks down and he sees you going, watch this, right?
Yeah.
What happens next, as he describes it, is you put a shot out to about the 4 board. It comes roaring back, destroys the pins, and you're out there laughing. I
Yep.
can't remember if this is a practice session, a pro-am early in the tournament, what. Maybe you can fill in the blanks.
Sure. Yeah, obviously a memorable week. AC Delco Classic, first tournament of the year. Good, big money,
Yeah.
great event. And I went out, bowled the first block, and I was outside the cash. I didn't bowl very well.
You don't have the
I
Excalibur.
don't have the
in your
ball
hand.
yet.
Okay.
I walk out in the parking lot, and Tony Westlake calls me over. And he says, "Hey, Mark," he goes, "come here a sec." He goes, opens his trunk, and he's got these Excaliburs in there. Well, that's what a classic. This is like, what's the movie?
Pulp
Kingpin.
Fiction? Oh.
Kingpin. Yeah.
I was
Hey,
gonna say the
open
briefcase.
the trunk. Look what I got for you here. And he's like, "Hey, I'd like you to draw one of these. Why don't you give these a try?" And it was the Excalibur.
Yeah.
So I said, what the heck, right?
Mhm.
I'm not in the cash, and so that played a role too. I was open to trying something. I went and I drilled up that Excalibur, and I came out that night, and it was incredible what that ball was doing. I shot like 256 over for 6 games and jumped up into the top 10 or something. I was up in the finals, top 24. But what that ball did, nobody had seen before. The resin material of it just created a transition on the lanes that nobody had seen. They got the name a cheater ball, for a reason, because it just did things. And it fit my game. It fit the pattern, what was going on out there. And if I had a messenger or a pin standing of some sort, it seemed like every time I had a messenger taking it out, whether it was the classic messenger or whatever, the carry was off the charts, and to the point we were laughing. The guys around me are just like, what the heck, and I'm striking at will in a crazy fashion, and I'm just like, wow, this is unbelievable. And I just rode that ball. I actually drilled a second one. So I'm thinking they might have had more than 24 because I got 2 of them or whatever you said. But anyway, that ball was spectacular. Got me on the show. And I was able to walk through the field on the show. I beat Marshall Holman, who was one of my idols growing up, and that was satisfying. And to see Marshall and my balls out hooking him by 10 boards, it was crazy. And then I beat Rick Steele-Smith, who's an all-time, one of our college heroes, right? Great talent. And then Wayne Webb for the title. So, and that set off a firestorm. That moment, I think Pro Shops probably got more calls during that show or soon after than any other ball in history, because everybody said, what was that? Because Bo Nelson Burton Jr., like that ball, his classic line was, did you see that ball? It looked like it hit a brick because the way it bounced off the dry boards outside. And so that set off a firestorm, and that ball changed the game. So that was history.
One of the things that really stood out to me about what he said during that show, quote, McDowell is throwing the ball a lot like Mark Roth.
Wow. And that was all ball, I'll tell you. Yeah. That was what that ball could give you. And it started that. You could create an incredible hook and power and everything. So, wow. That's like the ultimate. But I got to tip my hat to the Excalibur on that one.
Yeah.
So
did you meet Steve Cooper? Did you talk with him?
I did.
Yeah.
Because I threw the ball on TV and there was no incentive for it.
Okay.
Most of the ball manufacturers would have a posted incentive if you threw the ball on TV and you won, you got this. If you're second or whatever, it varied all the time, but there would be incentives on there, and there wasn't one for the Excalibur.
Okay.
But I was like, wow, I'm obviously throwing that ball. So I didn't get anything from them for winning, but he was like, whatever you need. And he was going to pay for a trip to Hawaii as a thank you.
Wow.
And before that happened, I actually signed with Fayball. I signed with Hammer, which had made the Blue Hammer at the time was a dominant ball.
Okay.
The Excalibur shook up the game, but the Blue Hammer was still dominant.
Yeah.
So during the winter tour, after that happened, not long after, incredibly, I signed with Hammer. And that was, the ball that I then won the Firestone with. I won the Rochester Open, Marcel's tournament in Rochester. So, a unique year and a unique experience. But I did get to know Steve, and there's a whole nother story behind that someday. It'd be fascinating to hear how that all came about.
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of comments here. I gotta get through some of these because I'm falling behind. James Arndt says, also #1 Skyline Golf League team member.
Yes, hi Jim. Yeah, we've got a fun golf league at Skyline in Black River Falls, and Jim's on one of our teams there. Kind of got brother teams, and great guy. One of the fun guys in Black River Falls that I've gotten to know and can call a friend now. So appreciate it, Jim.
Rob Bailey says, the ball is in our shop.
It is. That's my guy right there. Rob Bailey drills my equipment, but it's much more than that. We're great friends. We talk about our faith together a lot. He's just a great mentor in many ways. Bowled regionals, great bowler himself. So I have a tradition that before the Nationals, USBC Open Championships, we always fly out on a Wednesday. On Monday night, I go to Rob's pro shop. He's got a phenomenal pro shop, 2 lanes right in his shop.
Oh.
So you can get a ball drilled and then go throw it on the lanes. It's phenomenal. It's like the field of dreams of bowling. But anyway, I would go out there, talk through the final equipment of what I'm going to take, and I do that every year. And even now in Black River Falls, and thankfully my wife is understanding, so I'll make the 2-hour drive down to bowl and meet with Rob, and we talk over equipment, and then I make the 2-hour drive home. And I just need that final confirmation of things, fine-tuning my game, but fine-tuning my equipment. I had already shipped my 6 balls to Nationals this year, already en route. Tom Howery, my teammate, was taking them, and I took some balls to Rob's to practice, and I was throwing the Sub-Zero, and he does a nice job to put the pattern out similar to what we think we might see. And it was the Miners pattern, and I'm throwing the Sub-Zero, one of Motive's newer balls, and I am striking steadily. And he's like, I don't know if this pattern's right because you're making them look easy. And I said, I don't know either, but this is rolling nice. He goes, I don't know how you don't take that ball with you to Nationals. And I'd already shipped my 6, and I thought, you're right. I mean, I don't want to get out there and wish I had that ball with me. So, I'm going to take it. So then I had to think, what other ball do I take? Because I'm going to take a 2-ball tote on the plane. Yeah. And I'm contemplating, I'm looking at my equipment, and I made the final decision to put this ball in the bag with me, the Jackal Onyx. So if that doesn't happen with Rob, if I don't throw that Sub-Zero and we both decide you got to take that doesn't come with me, and this maybe never happens.
Wow.
So you just never know. And again, that's fate. That's whatever. So that's kind of an interesting story. But also the commitment, if you will, of what we do, what I do to make sure I'm ready. I'll even take a 2-hour drive down to Rob's to bowl, practice, final fine-tune, and all that. So very special. Just interesting to think about that and how that ball got with me and how everything happened. So kind of an interesting little sidelight there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Jim Ward wants to know, hey, Mark, got a question.
Yeah.
Who was the first one ever to use a reactive ball on television with the Excalibur against Marshall Holman? What was that like? And will you bowl PBA 50 stops? So I think we got the first answer out of the way.
Yeah, I was the first. Bruce Hamilton, I think, was the second. And I don't know if he won or not, but anyway, I don't think he won, but he threw it on TV too. Will I bowl the PBA 50? I've bowled 2 in my life. I went out when I first turned 50 to Vegas to bowl the senior the Masters. I went out to bowl did I bowl the Masters? No, I bowled the senior U.S. Open in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm going to give that a try. And then I bowled the senior Masters when it was in Green Bay. I bowled a regional here this summer at Bill Fabian's Plaza Bowl in Ripon because it was close, and it was nice because it was right before nationals. So it was an opportunity to really go kind of practice and fine tune, and they were tough, really tough, and I struggled a little bit there. But I don't think I'm going to be doing a PBA 50 stops. I just don't have that kind of desire to go. And these guys that are out there now, the young guys, the regular seniors. I mean, it's,
JJ,
Janowitz,
Barnes,
and Angelo, and Chris Barnes, and
Parker's still
Parker's out there.
Yeah.
It's just phenomenal players. And if I can't go do it full time, full throttle, full engagement, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I'm only going to do it if I can give it everything I got, and that's just not happening at this point. I love my job. I love my life and where we're at, and that doesn't fit in right now. So my focus is league, city, state, nationals. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. Yeah.
All right. Dave Whitman, who is a local bowler up by me, says, congratulations on your eagle. Many people don't realize how hard that is. He says, how many is that? And I think we might have mentioned it, but
yeah, that's 3. That was my third, which is that's special, of course. My other 2 were team event, team all events and team event with 11thframe.com guys. And so this is the only one, my first one to go do it myself, which is pretty special. Kind of adds that little extra, uniqueness to it. So very satisfying to have 3 and to add it to, especially at this point in my career, to be able to go win an individual eagle like that. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty special.
Yeah. Brian Thompson says, the Wednesday night league champ. Congratulations.
Yeah, we didn't win the league this year. In fact, we were way down the roster. But, man, I love bowling here. I've gotten to know a lot of guys. He's right over there practicing right now. So, Brian, love it. He's got a passion for the game.
They're all laughing.
Yeah. These guys are out here. This is the Wednesday night group, and they come all through the summer and practice on Wednesdays, and they love to bowl. And I love to share what I know and what I can do. And it's pretty cool because when I first started bowling league here, there were maybe 5 motive balls on the rack. And now there's probably 25 motive balls on the rack. So I love that. Obviously, I love motive and what they've done, but I've been able to share what these balls can do, and the guys trust me on it, and they're throwing them and successful. Anyway, that's just super cool. It's like, I need to get a new ball, and what do you think? And I know their game. I know what we're bowling on, so I can really give them some good guidance. And
sure.
I just love all these guys. They've been great. And we talked about it. If you move to a new town, one of the first and best things you can do is join a bowling league.
Yep, 100%.
I've met so many good guys here. My golf league, too. So good stuff.
Yeah, do it. And then, of course, the birthday boy, Jeff Richgels, chiming in. Appreciate Mac getting me an X before most people had one. Was monstrous in the PBA regionals.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know. It kind of made a splash out there then, too. And my roommate at the time, Kevin McGear, he was actually ahead of me. I think he used it in the fall prior at some regionals. Never shared that with me, so I had to get it through Tony. But anyway, he shared that, too. So, yeah, a lot of guys did some crazy things with that ball.
Yeah.
It was a special ball at a special time, for sure.
So you already answered the question that I would have asked about the Firestone Tournament of Champions, right? Why were you throwing a blue hammer?
Yeah.
Because you had signed with Faball.
Yep.
As I've kind of alluded to before, I like to watch the other bowling podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't see us as competitors because we're all a little different, but it's just interesting to get the full flavor of, what people are talking about in the sport. And I encourage all of you to do that too. But I'm watching Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A couple of years back. And I'm going to tell you that of all the PBA Tour events I've watched, there are only a few when the title match isn't the one that I remember. The 92 Firestone Tournament of Champions probably tops that list, all right? I'm 14 years old, sitting there watching them talk about how Danny Wiseman's father has terminal cancer.
Yeah.
And Wiseman was in the match before you, and he won, and he was throwing it well.
Yep.
He had the crowd. It was amazing to see. You get in there and back and forth match.
Yep.
He's got ball in hand in the 10th frame, and that 7-pin,
Yeah.
kept him out of the winner's circle there, or at least out of a chance to be in the winner's circle there. So when he came on that show, I had to ask. I've seen that still image of you hugging his dad. I've seen that still image of Wiseman hugging his own father, knowing that, things aren't well.
Yeah.
Time could be short.
Yep.
I said, what did McDowell say to you two? And he said that moment was like a fog. It was just a fog. I do remember him hugging my dad. I don't know what he said to him, but that was, that was a tough loss, And he, it took him a while to get through that.
Yep.
It was emotional, and I understand why. We'll never understand exactly how, but we understand why.
Yeah.
Take me through that. Like, before the match, you see what's going on. And, we're all watching his father on TV because they're constantly going to.
Yep.
But you gotta get ready to kill, right?
Absolutely. I'm there to win that thing.
Yeah.
But I knew I was kind of going to be in a bit of a spoiler role.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny and I are good friends, and we room together occasionally on tour, and I'd gotten to know him. And that whole storyline, there's no way it doesn't tug on you. And he was bowling so well.
Yeah.
And he's so good on TV. Such a great bowler, great concentrator. Went on, he's in the Hall of Fame now, PBA. Yep. So I knew I had to bowl well, and I was slow out of the gate there. I had trouble striking first 2 or 3 or 4 frames even, and luckily he had a ringing 10 and he had a fast 8 in there, and it just sort of slowed him down enough, and I finally got it going at the end of the game, and it suddenly became sort of back and forth, and the most intense game of my life by far, for sure, not a close second. And just incredible. I even get like the chills when I watch it again, just because of the whole, the importance of it, the significance of it, the moment, what it meant to Danny and the whole crowd. So, I was, I was got a little teary even when it was over, because I wanted to win, but I also, you couldn't help but feel the moment of what that was to Danny, and not being able to do that and keep going and win it for his dad. So a lot of emotion. Thankful I got through it and won, and then the rest is history. I came out with the first 5 against Janello and kind of put it away. So that was a thrill, and that was one of those moments, you're sitting there on the bench and this is huge, but I couldn't let myself think about that stuff. That's what helped me this year in singles. I kind of knew what I needed to do to block everything else out. I couldn't think of the enormity of it, the significance of it. Couldn't let myself go there. I had to stay in the moment, focus on what I was doing, and just keep my head down and try to stay relaxed and keep executing. It was exactly what I drew into this year in singles. I reflected back on it, and I was like, all right, I blocked everything else out, thankfully. Those are certainly 2 highlights in my career. On the Excalibur, I'll share this real quick.
Yeah.
The lane men on the PBA figured out how to kind of shut that ball down.
Was it Len Nicholson? Or?
I don't know who it was, and I don't want to go there. But all you needed to do was put a little extra oil on the lanes,
Sure.
and that ball was going 60 feet.
Yeah.
If you didn't have some friction out there to bounce it off of, and to get that pearl or that pearlized cover rolling and the weight block to kick in and that whole material, heavy oil would shut it down.
It kind of magnified everything on the lane, the oil and the dry.
Yep, it skidded heavily on oil and hooked hard on dry. So really was sensitive to the friction that was there, and they quickly realized that, so they quickly were able to kind of shut it down.
Sure.
But that led to the whole evolution of the balls, the Rhino Pro, and then the Teal could handle more oil. Anyway, so I kind of saw that early, and they took that ball away, which led me to say, I think this Blue Hammer is the right move for me. It was definitely a dominant ball as well, and handled more of the tour conditions that evolved into. So anyway, I
Yeah.
just wanted to share that little bit too. 'Cause
No, that's
how do you win with that ball, which was so amazing, and then go to something? That's why.
Yeah.
Because they kind of figured out how to shut it down.
sure. That makes
So,
sense.
Yeah.
But I got to go back and ask you the same
Yeah.
question that I asked Danny. What
Yeah.
did you say? Do you remember?
I
what
don't
you said?
remember.
No?
I don't remember. I just remember hugging him. I wanted to, I felt for him. I definitely felt for him. Again, Danny was a friend. I knew what it meant. I don't remember if I even said anything, but hey, just thinking about you, love you, something like that. It was simple. Not much else you can say in that moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's special.
Yeah.
So,
He did unfortunately pass away pretty soon
shortly after
after that.
a month or two, I think,
Yeah.
after that,
Um,
maybe even sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But at the same time, it's the highlight of your career to that point. It's probably arguably one of the highlights of your career
absolutely.
now.
Still is.
Yeah. I mean, you see the image of you holding the trophy there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's the pinnacle of our sport. It was the pinnacle of my career. It was an incredible experience. That was the show that it kind of, wrapped up the winter tour. It was always the main event, and there was just a prestige there. And man, you felt it and you knew it when you were on site, Riviera Lanes, that classic sign, through these doors walk the world's greatest bowlers.
Yeah.
Your name was up on a big medallion like sign on Main Street in Akron. So when you drove into town, there was your shield with your name on it, along with the other 52 bowlers who qualified. It was just special. Even the press room, it was a legit press room.
Yeah.
After every block, if you were in the lead role, you were sitting down with a bevy of reporters and cameras. So it was truly the peak of our tour and of bowling at that time. So yeah, just to win that, absolute thrill. So,
There was one time about 2 years ago when I tried to walk under that sign, but I ran into a locked door because Bolero didn't open until 4 o'clock. It was like 11 in the morning.
yeah.
Maybe someday.
Yeah.
That year you were so good. You had the wins. Bowler of the year, right?
Yeah.
It was right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you disappointed that PBA Player of the Year didn't come to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I can't lie about that. Especially, led the tour in money, 3 titles, major, and the way Rochester went to cap it off, because I won, one of the final events of the year when it was up for grabs in dominant fashion. It was a top seed, and that was a special win as well for that reason. But also, I kind of made up for the year before at Rochester. I was the top seed the year before there and shot 165 on TV. An embarrassing loss. And so to come back and redeem myself, top seed again, and to shoot 260, I was 100 pins better. To win that event, dominant fashion, beat Randy Peterson for the win. He
didn't lose many on TV.
No, he didn't. So some of my best wins are against Danny Wiseman. Didn't lose very often on TV. Randy Peterson didn't lose very often. I thought I had it. I thought that was going to win it. Players thought otherwise. That's okay. Dave Ferraro's a Hall of Famer, great guy, great talent. Had been doing it at a high level for a long time, so I can understand why they maybe leaned in that direction. Super thankful for the bowling writers to see it otherwise, and I cherish that award from them. Yeah.
Got a couple comments here. So Brian says Wednesday Night League bows to the Eagle champ. They're going to be talking about this on Wednesday nights for a while, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's cool, and the
big smile is right past you over there. I wish I could tilt the camera.
Man. I love these guys. They've welcomed me in here.
Keep talking. I'm
Okay.
going to tilt the camera.
All right. They've welcomed me in here. And we're friends. They appreciate what I do, what I've done. So I love these guys. They've become good friends. So we have a great time. When I get that eagle, when I finally have it in my hands, I'll bring it out here, and I know they'll enjoy it with me and celebrate with me, and it's a little piece of bowling history that I'm going to be bringing back to Strike Time Lanes.
Okay. It's not that I don't want them to comment. Don't take that the wrong way. We just want to see who we're talking about here.
Yeah, those are my guys right there, man. They love the game. They come out here and practice. They're open and receptive to thoughts and tips and suggestions I have, and they just want to get better, and they're just good guys.
Yeah.
You know, as salt of the earth, as they say. Yeah.
No
Good
matter
stuff.
no matter what level you're at, you got to have the bowling friends. I mean,
you do.
it's the same at any level, and it's worth more than gold.
They razz me. They cheer for me. They appreciate things. That's all good, you know.
Yeah.
And I try to just keep that humble, demeanor or whatever. So I love these guys too.
Yeah. Ed says, great bowling, Mark. Amazing accomplishment.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Still sinking in, man. It's still sinking in.
Gina Stoner says, how did or do you mentally prepare for matches? Do you have a specific routine or superstitions?
Well, preparing for matches and any tournament, obviously practice, get my equipment ready. The thing that's really helped me at nationals now, because the first game of team event at nationals is the most nerve-wracking, intense game of the year.
Yeah.
By far.
Sure.
And I was frustrated that I wasn't handling it better. I was super nervous, just super anxious, and couldn't relax and bowl to what I was, my expectations. So it kind of hit me. I'm like, I got to refocus a bit here on my routine. Because you get out there in the lanes, it's a different environment. It's a unique environment. It just is special, and it creates, a little anxiousness and so on. So I started probably 4 or 5 years ago to really focus on my routine and very detailed about it. Every part of my process, from when I walk up to that ball return, pick up the ball, wipe it off with my Motive chamois, dry my hand, put my shoe on the approach and test my slide twice, walk up, get set on my target, stand up a certain way, take a final deep breath. I mean, I am detailed on that. And my thought is, if I get that routine down, then the nerves, I can kind of like bump them off to the side and settle into this routine that I have just ingrained in my process, in my routine, my thoughts. So that becomes your focus when you're on the lanes, and not sort of this unique anxiety, anxious environment that can be a little overwhelming. So I think for any USBC bowler out there, when you're practicing, getting ready that last month, just really settle into a defined routine and grab it and hold on to it and make that your focus, and not the enormity or the uniqueness or the environment that you're in. That's been huge for me. And I just think that's a key part of it. And so that's my kind of suggestion there. So Gino, thanks for that question. And that's a real key in getting ready for any competition.
I love that, because it's something anybody can do.
Anybody can do it.
You don't have to have a certain amount of talent.
Even
to do
these
that.
guys. And I work with them and practice with them, and I stress it, and they see it. So I'm showing them, I'm telling them, I'm preaching it, and so it's good stuff.
Yeah. Ryan McDowell, crushing it, Dad. Always cool to watch you rock it out.
Oh man, hi Rye. Hey buddy, wish you were here. He's down in Atlanta now, living down there, doing great things. Trainer. Great solid core company, so he's out there helping people get in shape. So thanks, bud. I appreciate you watching and enjoying this, and great bowler as well. He's got a 300 game under his belt. So
Apple never falls far from the tree.
It was at Rob Bailey's pro shop, and he hadn't bowled in like 2 years.
Wow.
And we came out and we're practicing, and he said, I want to bowl one more game. And so I said I had enough. So Rob and I sat back, and he got up and started striking, and just kept striking, and stepped up in the 10th and threw 3 strikes and shot 300.
Wow.
Quite amazing. So,
yeah.
Little shout out back to you, Rye.
Yeah. And then Timothy Nichols, Mark, Gino Arntz wanted me to tell you hi and congrats. And then he added in his own congrats.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Yeah, Tim's here.
Yeah.
He's a great bowler himself. We bowl doubles together, and a good lefty. And then he's buddies
in
with
the red.
Gino. Yeah, he's in the red there. So yeah, we golf together and bowl together and become good friends. So and Gino, I don't know where Gino is tonight.
Well,
he's probably off hunting or hitting golf balls or something.
You know, as luck would have it, I did get to talk to Gino too.
Okay.
So here's what he had to say. He said he really got to know you over the last 10 to 15 years, crossing pairs with you. He says always a very courteous and respectful person on and off the lanes, and always very upbeat and positive. If he's on your pair, you can really feed off his positive energy, he said. He said, I haven't ever teamed up with him at this point because I asked if you guys had bowled together, but I'm sure we will in the future at some point. However, we are teaming up in an upcoming golf tournament in September, and I am looking forward to that. As for Mac's bowling game, definitely A player, 2025 national singles champ at 63 years old. Just freaking incredible. I love that he said if he's on your pair, you can really feed off his positive energy, because Gino is like the positivity king.
I was going to say right back at you, man.
Yeah.
Gino is absolutely one of the most positive guys you can be around. I love it. And that's probably why we've become good friends now, because we both have that sort of personality or trait. And there's no time for negativity. You know, let's be positive. And Gino's just awesome. I didn't know him at first, and he's pretty outspoken and car salesman, right? There's that old stereotype. And so I was like, all right, he's a good guy. He's a heck of a bowler, and just slowly got to know him. And then kind of since when I moved up here, we've spent more time together, gotten to know each other. And he is a legit quality guy. Carrie and I were talking about him. I mean, there's no phoniness. He's the real deal. You think of a car salesman selling things, but Gino's real. I mean, he's a real guy. It's who he is. It's always there. He's upbeat. We bought a car from him a couple months ago. The way he took care of us was off the charts. I mean, I would go back to him in a heartbeat. So no wonder he's sold 12,000 cars or whatever. He's getting close, I think.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
So,
he texts a lot. I always have a smile on my face when I pull up the text thread and it's Gino.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's loving life.
Yeah.
He lives that way. Positive attitude. Always upbeat. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. You ended up leaving the tour in '96, and hearing you talk about how great things are right now. You're living in a great place, great job, great marriage.
Yeah.
You're just at peace. Did you kind of yearn for that at that point when you left the tour? Or was there another reason?
Well, there's a variety of reasons. I think I struggled a little bit when I signed with Hammer. They were the last company to really come out with a quality resin reactive, and I struggled. I stayed with them, and they just kept saying, we got one coming, and it took a while, and then when they came, they weren't great. I struggled. But then there was other things, because I finished strong. I actually made the show 3 of the last 6 tournaments I bowled when I retired. In the fall, in the first tournament, the only tournament I bowled the Firestone in 95 or 96. Yeah, 96. Anyway, my son was born, Ryan, and I'd been out there 10 years. So the tour was in a bit of a decline at that point. We lost the ABC network contract. That's where the majority of our prize money came from. We were losing tournaments, corporate sponsorship. It was a tough time for the PBA.
Yeah. And
it was a tough time for me. And I just felt like, I don't want to miss seeing my son grow up. And so, it was kind of I was 33 at the time. So I still had, I think, a lot left in me, but I just knew it was kind of time to move on. And I have no regrets about that. Got into financial services, 401k advisor, and I've been doing that now for like 25 years, so more than that. And so the bowling feels like another life ago. That was kind of what led to that. And, you know, I have no regrets at all about it.
Yeah.
But to your first point there, I've never felt better. I've never been in a better place, being at peace. A lot of that was my faith. 15 years ago, I really became a believer. And God and Jesus Christ guides my way. They were with me on the lanes that day. I shared with you this index card that I had with me in my pocket. It's got Philippians 4, verse 6 and 7. Do not be anxious about anything. And there's more to it. Go check that out. But I also had my tips on the back. And I wrote this before doubles and singles, and I wrote all things are possible. And again, that's kind of some scripture reference. And I had that with me all through that singles event. I was praying, I was thinking about that, and I felt that peace and that calmness all through it. So I give that a lot of credit. My wife's walking right with me in it. We have a great marriage, found a wonderful home in Black River Falls. I have great friends. The peace and quiet up here and everything about it's just been amazing. So I've just never been in a better place, and I think that reflects out into your bowling, because I've never been calmer out there. I think I shared, you know, in team event this year, and they were brutal. I started 220, 230, and I shot 161 the last game. 15 years ago, I'd have been inconsolable after doing that.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, you know, I just have a peace. I gave it my best. It didn't happen. Went out that night. I probably wouldn't even have gone out. I'd have gone back to my room and just been miserable. But went out with the guys and had a great time. So it's been life-changing for me. My faith and I guess maturity and where everything is in life. So finding that peace and being there has been a big deal for me. Made a big difference in my bowling.
And you brought that card, which was awesome. I brought this card, you know, big difference. But
I put more faith in this one right here than this one. So anyway,
when did you make the move up to Black River and Hatfield? Because when I think of Verona or Madison, there's a world of difference, right, between Hatfield and Black River.
Yeah.
What brought you up here?
Yeah, good question. That was really COVID was the kind of the factor that came up. I'm born and raised in Madison. I've lived there my whole life, 60 years. Loved it. Loved Madison. Didn't think I'd ever move. COVID came, and it kind of changed things. We were looking to get out of Dane County as much as we could, come up here. We had a weekend place up here by Hatfield, which is just outside of Black River Falls. My dad bought land up here back in the 60s. So I've been coming up here since I was a little kid, liked the area. And COVID changed how we could work. We all had to go home, and we started working virtually. We were doing client meetings virtually. So it kind of opened the door on that. And when that kind of went, you know, cleared and you could go back to work, they gave us the option to work from home. And when they gave me that option, at that point, I was ready to go. I looked at Carrie, I turned to Carrie and I said, let's go. And let's move up here. And we did. We just decided, you know, I'm able to work from home. Carrie's from Neillsville, which is close to here and smaller town. So she was all for it. And I was just ready. I was ready for a little slower pace, a little calmer life. Madison has really grown. It's more traffic, more crime, unfortunately, higher costs. It just was everything. The timing to sell our house was perfect. We maxed out there and was able to really find a wonderful place up here. So it just sort of, you know, opened up and developed.
Yeah.
You know, and those were the factors.
Sure. Madison, if you're not familiar, it's like 300,000. We're in Neillsville, which is about 2,400. Black River's about the same. So that's what we're talking about here is, you know, a vast shift in
3
population.
stoplights in Black River, I think. So you know, there's never any traffic.
Yeah.
Man, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
We just love it.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of made this move to family, to a 9-to-5, to all that stuff. But in the rear view, you had that great career, right? And the natural question, especially nowadays, right? The PBA is kind of looking at veterans and a veterans committee. What about the Hall of Fame?
Oh gosh.
I had to ask Tom, right? Because
Tom who?
Tom who?
Tom Clark?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I
that's
wanted to be, I just wanted to confirm it.
If you know him like I do. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I asked him about you and were you being considered, for the Hall of Fame? He said that you weren't on the short list on the first time they did a Veterans Committee vote. He said, yeah, it's close, but there's a pretty long line in front of him with 6, 7, 8, 9 titles. One of the other things he said something to the effect of that you were a pioneer when it comes to reactive. So that's kind of taken on life, right? But I saw you shake your head. Hall of Fame, does it matter? Do you think about it?
If the PBA Hall of Fame was a priority, I wouldn't have retired at 33.
Sure.
Just never was my focus or a priority for me. If that stuff, if it happens, it happens. So I don't know. I'm very at peace with my career. I'm so thankful for it. I mean, a lot of unique things in my career. Maybe there's some intangibles there that can make a difference. You mentioned the resin, but being Rookie of the Year, Bowler of the Year, PBA President for 2 years, rookie record for earnings. Sounds like I'm making a pitch here for the Hall of Fame, but I'm just so satisfied with the 10-year career I had. And I don't know how many years these other guys were out there, but in 10 years, I'm super happy and satisfied with what I accomplished. If it happens someday, wonderful. If not, I'm not losing sleep over it. I honestly don't think about it much. I see it's interesting because I see other guys now that I more than held my own with back in the day now going in.
Yeah.
Well, they stayed out there 15, 20 or more years.
Sure.
I was out there for 10. I kind of feel like I would have won a few more if I'd have stayed the course. You're kind of even in your prime in your early 30s, but whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the extent of it. And I'm going to leave it at that and probably won't think about it again.
I'm assuming you have the same opinion when it comes to the USBC Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that one's a little more fresh, that I'm still competing there and knowing the history of it, having a couple teammates that are already there and the Wisconsin, focus on the USBC, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. I think I've put up some pretty good numbers career-wise, average-wise, now with a third eagle. We'll see. Again, those are things you really don't have much control of. Just go bowl.
Yeah.
Put up the numbers, put up the scores, win the tournaments, do what you do. At the end, if they say, hey, we're going to put you in the hall, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And, that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Moving forward, I mean, I feel like the obvious question is how long do you keep doing this? You're obviously competitive against 50,000 people.
Yeah.
50,000 people, you beat them all in
Yeah.
singles, right? You're here, you enjoy the sport, you've got all the other things. Is there a long-term future in bowling for you?
Well, there is in the USBC Open Championships. Yeah, I'm going to keep bowling this for sure. I have 31 in at the Open Championships. I have another 7 at the Masters, which they used to count in a little separate list of, because it was the same lane, same pattern back then, because we couldn't bowl in the Open Championships. So now you can. I couldn't then, but yeah, I got 38 years in, so I want to get to 50. That's a goal. My dad's on the way there. I'd like to join him there. That'd be pretty cool. And who knows? Yeah, I still have a strong desire to compete. I hope the rest of my team does, and I know they do, So, yeah, I don't want to ever say I can't compete anymore. I come out every year thinking we got a chance. Our team, on a tough pattern, why not? I mean, we got the experience, the ability. Doubles, bowling with Mike Shady. Heck yeah, we can win an eagle yet. And now, surprisingly to me, singles pops up. I would have never thought, but that obviously changes your outlook a bit too. But I keep myself in good shape. I'm still competitive. I got good genes. My dad's still bowling at 87.
Wow.
So yeah, I think I got some left in me here. And
Yeah.
I'm enjoying and looking forward to pushing it and seeing what I can do.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to watch from our vantage point here. Let me
thank you,
tell
man.
you. William O'Leary says, "Hey, is that someone you know?"
William O'Leary, Bill, where do I know you, man? I don't know.
Yeah.
It rings a bell, but I can't place it.
Yeah.
So-
Throw it in the chat if you can elaborate a little bit.
Yes, thank you.
Garrett Bartley says, "I am super proud of you. Congrats, Mark." It is Garrett.
It's Mr. Garrett. It's one of our boys. So it's Carrie's youngest son, and
Okay.
he's like a son to me. He is a son to me. So love it. Good bowler in his own right. And thanks, buddy. I appreciate you sending a shout out.
We've been going for more than an hour and a half here, and your wife is over there. I know you can't see her on camera. She's in an intense conversation with another lady over there. I'm impressed.
I think the whole time too. Haven't they been?
I'm
chatting?
impressed. I'm impressed that the subject of hasn't come up.
They're probably sharing dog pictures.
Okay.
You know, we have 3 dogs, 2 labs, and a Chihuahua mix. So, and that's her. She's an animal lover, dog lover. So, dogs. MaddieGirl.com is her Facebook page. So
Okay.
check that out. She just loves her dogs. I'm guessing they're looking at their phone. They're probably talking dogs.
Now they've caught on.
Yeah.
The jig is up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to move this right along just
Okay.
for you, Carrie, because we've been at this a long time. But I can't let you go without this.
Let's go off the sheet. Challenge a bowler to appear on a future episode.
I would like to challenge Will Madison.
I would say Diana Zavulova.
The better Russo, Lauren Russo.
We're looking for anyone who has a passion for the sport and a unique story to tell.
And if anybody knows people like that, it's you. It takes one to know one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I knew this was coming.
Yeah.
So I had given it some thought, and there's several, but my challenge is out to Bill Fabian. Good friend. He's on that dreaded lacrosse team that beat us. But regardless of that, we've become great friends. Such a unique story. I think people would love to hear about it. He's a unique guy. Former cardiologist, retired doctor, passion for bowling. Moved to a small town called Ripon, Wisconsin, bought a bowling center, and he's competing actively out on I shouldn't tell his whole story. You can share it, but that's a little teaser. Because phenomenal story.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's loving bowling.
He's come up in a couple of my tournament live streams, so I can tell you, I can vouch for that. He's a tough competitor. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, Bill, if you're watching this and you want to come on, we will make it happen. I'd be happy to have you on. bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com over email is the best place to go. And consider it at least. I know that the thing with the cameras is kind of intimidating, but hey, Mark did it. He's still in one piece.
That's right.
Yeah.
Made it through.
Yeah. So our next live stream, obviously coming up this weekend, the tournament live stream of Alan Briley's Golf and Bowl 2025 Invitational starts Saturday afternoon, 5 o'clock. It's August 2nd and 3rd at Spare Time Entertainment in Owatonna. We'll let them take care of the golfing first. Kind of tough to live stream that, but I'll take care of the bowling part because that's the fun stuff. And after that, I'll be off the first week of August. See, that's the deal Mrs. Feff and I have. That, I do one of these tournament live streams over the weekend, and then I give it a rest for a week before I come back. But when we come back, we're coming back strong. You mentioned Terry McKinney, and he is currently a coach at Viterbo University. And one of his star bowlers, he has suggested she be on the show over and over, and for good reason. Emily Neubauer has an outstanding college career so far. Recently participated in the PWBA Anniversary Open in Green Bay, and we will dive into her bowling story on Thursday, August 14th, 7 p.m. Central. You won't want to miss it. I hope you'll be there live, and if you're not live, you know what? It's on YouTube forever, or at least as long as YouTube is a thing, and on a podcast called Bowling with the Fef, so it's here in a bunch of forms. I do want to give a huge thanks to Mike Thomas and Strike Time Lanes. It's a great place. They've been more than accommodating to me. Of course, having Mark's word is never a bad thing, but he was very gracious to me and, having me set up all my crap
Yeah.
in his concourse here. But thank you so much. Strike Time Lanes, if you're in Neillsville, give them a try, and then you can go over and see Chatty Bell, the world's biggest talking cow. Bring a quarter if you see Chatty Bell, because it takes quarters. But Mark, it has been a pleasure. I'm so glad we got to do this. I hope we get to do it again. I know there are other parts of the story, the PBA presidency, life on the lanes here in Neillsville and beyond that we can get to. So keep that in mind too. That's my off-the-sheet challenge to you.
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. Welcome back. Hopefully I can do something else that would maybe warrant having me back.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Yeah.
So,
and if you ever feel like subbing up in Eau Claire,
okay.
It's not that far.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. I've practiced at Wagner's occasionally.
Okay,
so,
there you go.
yeah, when this place has been closed,
Okay.
So,
Well, you let me know if you ever make it up
I
there.
will.
Because
I will. Thanks.
That's my home house
Thanks,
too.
Andrew.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
and thanks to all you for watching. Always appreciated. We'll see you on Saturday and Sunday for the tournament live stream. Until then, have a great weekend.
Thank you for watching Bowling with the Pfeff. Pound the like button and subscribe button. It's the easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. Bowling with the Pfeff is brought to you by Chip Magnet. Raise your snack standards.
Jerry, score more bowling supply inside Wagner's Lane. So Eau Claire, Wisconsin area's leader in bowling products and services since 1988. And Visionary Video Hub, video with impact.
Email bowlingwiththepfeff@yahoo.com with questions or to appear on the show. You can also reach out on your favorite social media platform.